Hi, everybody. The stench you smell is Jameis Winston's ass. Welcome to the Browns halftime report with the score 85 to nothing. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. What's the point? All right. These players aren't ready to play any week. I don't know what preparation they allegedly are doing. But I'll give you my smelly ass awards, which starts with Jameis Winston, the most overrated, lousy quarterback that you'll ever see. Just because people hate Deshaun Watson, they have to justify hate, which you don't need to do because Deshaun Watson, I don't want him playing in Cleveland. You don't want him playing in Cleveland, but just delivering blind hate doesn't make Jameis Winston better. And what they've done with Jameis Winston is pat. He's afraid to throw the ball now. You see, if he can't be the crazy preacher, crazy lunatic guy who throws it into a crowd, the longer he holds on to the ball, the worse things happen. He sucks. You can't bring him back next year. He's no good. So there's that. Then you had Thrash, the rookie out of Louisville. Why don't we put him in a few plays and let him line up off sides and then let him turn around too late and the ball's on him and it goes through his hands? Or what about the smelly ass award for Jerome Ford, who has a wide open corridor right in front of his fucking face and cuts back in to where all the people are? Oh my God. And then, of course, James Prochet, smelly ass award, because he replaces a guy when all he has to do is catch the fucking ball because the previous guy, Tony, couldn't do it, and he can't do it either. So there you have it. In a nutshell, what else is there? What else? I would trade the whole group of players. Myles Garrett, bye. Get something for him, draft picks. And the only way I do that is to get rid of the front office and get somebody who's a czar, a football czar who knows how to draft. So you get rid of Myles Garrett, you get rid of Denzel Ward, you get rid of every good player you have. It makes no difference. Look at what your record is. It doesn't matter how many bad players you'll have next year or the year after. It doesn't matter. You're going to lose anyway. You might as well try to get value for these people while you can. So, and the bottom line is I can't get rid of Jimmy Haslam. So unless you can put his face on a poster, and never mind. So what are you going to do? Team stinks. Team's always going to stink. They've stunk since they come back into the league, and they stink still today. And it's not close to getting turned around. In fact, it's getting worse. And that bodes badly for Kevin Stefanski. I'll tell you about the story of Sam Rutigliano, who is my favorite coach of Browns and a very nice man indeed. When the worm turns, it turns. He was known as the riverboat gambler because he took so many chances. But by the time Brian Sipe was done and Paul McDonald was on his way into the team, they weren't good offensively anymore. And they started out the season 1-7, and that's what brought Marty Schottenheimer, the defensive coordinator at the time, into the head coaching position. That's what's going to happen next year. They'll bring Kevin Stefanski back. The same shit's going to go on, and they're going to have a horrible record, and he's going to get fired after 5 or 6 games. I guarantee you, because one by one, they will all be blamed by Jimmy the Hick Haslam. That's what's going to happen. And his smelly ass rules over everyone. So there is no hope for this organization at all. And I really wish they were gone. I really wish that Jimmy Haslam was gone and the team would stay. But, take them away. They're no good. It doesn't matter what stadium they play in, what state they play in, what city they play in. You know, it doesn't matter. It just isn't working out. Oh, I forgot about something. Oops. God, my finger slipped and I just kicked somebody out of the chat room. Well, let me tell you something, Joe. You blow your father, okay? Go and blow your father like you always do. You like to suck daddy's dick. Okay. That's what I have to say to him. Uh, and I know that's your belief, David. I don't think Paul Brown cursed football in Cleveland. I think that when you have bad ownership, you have bad ownership. And, when Lerner brought the team back, he was the quiet one. He was like the George Harrison, the quiet Beatle behind Art Modell's bluster. So he comes back, but he dies pretty quickly. And then his autistic son gets the team, and he didn't even want to live in America, for God's sakes. He wanted to eat crumpets and drink tea and have a footy team in England. And from there, it just went downhill. It's been lost ever since. No, it's just instigation, Radu. It's just instigation. And nobody has anything constructive to say about how to make this situation better. All they have is to talk more about Deshaun Watson, who's not even in the city. He's not even in the state. He's nowhere near. He's putting up Instagram videos about him and his pretty girlfriend eating bougie food on the water. I mean, it has nothing to do with Deshaun Watson. It has everything to do with the ownership of the team, and he's gonna get fired, but it won't happen until next year. All right. So who's our quarterback next year? It doesn't matter. How many times do I have to answer this question? It doesn't matter. If you can't run the football, there's no quarterback who's gonna succeed. You want to know what bad choices are? Bad choices are when Kareem Hunt has fresher, faster legs than Jerome Ford. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about a team that can't conceive what talent is or who would be more productive and right for a team. Why is Elijah Moore playing? Why do they think he's evasive? Why do they run him on end arounds and all kinds of goofy gadget plays? He is the least evasive runner that I have ever seen in my life as a wide receiver. I've never seen anything like it before. Unbelievable. You clean house in order to try to bring talent in, but you got to have somebody who knows how to identify talent. And that's nobody that we have right now in our front office. That's for sure. And yes, I'm surprised at Kareem Hunt's burst. Very surprised. And which tells me that when he was in Cleveland at the end, he didn't care. All right. Because he does look good. But, when people play for Cleveland, they don't want to play in Cleveland. And I think that has something to do with it. And we don't have an offensive line. And I can't even begin to assess Nick Chubb or any running back. There is nowhere to go. It's just, and the whole scheme has to be brought back to emphasize the run game because we're not good enough to put up enough points to beat people. And our defense isn't good enough to really do much of anything. So trade Denzel Ward, trade all these guys and get some young players in and see how you can reconstruct a team. But in the interim, you design an offense that when you draft offensive linemen, first and foremost, that you have people who at a scheme that complements their blocking skills so you can run the football, because without running the football in Cleveland, it's not going to work. That should be an advantage that you have against your opponent, not a deficit. So, let's see who else is talking here. At what point do they start realizing their process shouldn't be trusted any longer based on their outcomes? Well, when the owner says he's perplexed, that's a sign that he's confused and he doesn't know why everything's going wrong. And that should immediately eliminate him from consideration for having any say in what is done in the future. He should just shut up and pay the fucking checks and get people in there who know what the hell they're doing. Because if you're confused, if you're perplexed, you don't have an answer. And if you acknowledge that to the press, you're telling the world that you're stupid and you don't have the answer, and you're showing your smelly ass to the world. And that is what Jimmy Haslam has done. David is, let's say, the scheme is pass heavy, the running game, and you know, this is, again, why would the Browns try to take away from what their identity is to try to become a big time passing team? It doesn't make any sense. And all they've done is they've convinced Jameis Winston that there is no God. So what can I tell you? He ain't preaching shit now. He's holding on to the ball way too long. He could have at least 3 times run for first downs, and instead he's looking downfield and gets tackled, dragged down from behind. Unacceptable. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but they're working on my my progressive lenses. They messed them up. So I'm going, it's not that I've changed to contact lenses, but I can't see anything, but neither can Thrash. And yeah. So what do you do in the second half to get better? Hit Jimmy Haslam over the head with a frying pan. That way the fans will all feel better. But there's nothing that we're going to see with our vision is going to be anything improved. There is no improvement possible for this team. They've given up. They've quit. They're brokenhearted. They're dispirited. And now Jameis Winston is afraid to really let go of the ball. I've never seen Jameis Winston in his career sit down, pat down the ball 5 times before he throws it. They've turned him into Baker Mayfield. That's what they've done. Yeah. Yeah, the team would have 7 to 8 wins. Well, no, I mean, the team isn't good enough to be any better than what they are. Well, I'm going to be back after this game to talk more about I'm going to expand on my smelly ass awards for the Browns. Thanks a lot for watching the halftime show. I'll be right back after the game on the post-game show. Until then, enjoy the second half. Isn't it nice and fun to know you have no chance, so you're not even nervous? You can just sit there and curse at your screen. I'll see you after the game. Bye-bye.